breaking news from North Korea. It's raising disturbing new questions about the message Kim Jong-un is sending with yet another round of missile firings. Let's bring in CNN's Brian Todd. Brian, what are you learning?
Wolf, U.S. officials giving CNN new information on this just a short time ago. For the third time in a little over a week, North Korea has fired off a round of short-range missiles. From Washington to Seoul, intelligence officials now watching to see just how far the dictator is going to push this envelope. Tonight, the North Korean dictator continues to prod, press, and provoke to see just how far he can push President Trump without eliciting a response. A senior U.S. official telling CNN, U.S. military intelligence late today tracked the launch of what appear to be more short-range ballistic missiles from North Korea. Today's tests follow similar launches on Wednesday morning Korea time, and even before today's firing, Kim Jong-un's propaganda arm was already trash-talking about Tuesday night's tests. A newsreader saying Kim oversaw the firing of a multiple rocket launcher and bragging about the destruction it could cause.
It would be an inescapable distress to the forces, becoming a fat target of the weapon.
Kim's fat target is likely a reference to U.S. and South Korean military forces, which are set to hold joint exercises in the coming days, an event which always angers the North Korean strongman. In a little over a week, Kim has fired off 3 rounds of missiles and made a show of inspecting a large submarine being built, a vessel which could have the capability to launch nuclear missiles. Moves, analysts say, which are also designed to send a message to President Trump about how displeased Kim is over nuclear talks that have completely stalled.
To me, the message is that we're not going away. North Korea is saying that you can't just stop by once in a while, have a nice photo op, and then call it a day. That this is something that needs to be taken seriously. They need attention. They want attention. And that this is not something that we can just try to run out the clock on.
But if Kim is trying to bait Trump, it doesn't appear the president is taking it, telling reporters late today he's not concerned.
I have no problem. We'll see what happens. But these are short-range missiles. They're very standard.
Still, August could be a hot month in this standoff. South Korean officials telling CNN tonight they believe North Korea will continue to launch provocations throughout this month to protest those joint U.S.-South Korean military drills. How could North Korea ramp up the pressure?
If North Korea were to test a missile by flying it over Japan, but keep its range short of an ICBM, that again would produce some interesting pressures on 2 American allies.
But tonight, Kim's military is feeling internal pressures of its own. South Korean military officials say a North Korean soldier was detected crossing the DMZ, moving across the Imjin River. They have him in custody.
The man found at the central front of the DMZ was an active duty soldier, and he expressed his desire to defect.
That follows other high-profile defections of North Korean troops within the past 2 years, including this dramatic dash across the DMZ in November 2017. This soldier ditched his vehicle, made a run for it, was shot 5 times by fellow North Korean soldiers, and barely survived.
It's important to recognize that North Korean soldiers probably have a higher standard of living than even fairly well-off North Korean civilians. So for these people to be defecting suggests that all is not well within the security establishment.
Meanwhile, the Trump team is choosing to respond to the latest North Korean missile test by not responding very much at all. In addition to President Trump's downplaying of the missile test today, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who was at a conference in Asia, made no mention of the missile test whatsoever, saying the U.S. is optimistic that nuclear talks with Kim will continue. We are ready to go, Pompeo said. Analysts say this all could be a signal that at the moment the Trump team might be willing to brush off just about anything the North Koreans might do short of a long-range missile test. Wolf?
All right, Brian, thank you. Brian Todd reporting.